Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Oh, there you go. Welcome into Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. It is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. So good to see everybody here. How are you doing? Why isn't this working? StreamYard's being weird. Oh, well, we don't need it. Oh, my daughter's in the house. Yay, I'm here to tell my mom. I'm so friggin' proud of her, as always. Advocating for missing children is mentally hard. And if there is anyone I know that could do it, it's her. I love you, Mom. Oh my goodness. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is my oldest. I hope everybody is having an amazing Monday. I am exhausted. Just gonna say, I am mentally, physically. I miss you too, honey. I am mentally, physically exhausted from just gardening, taking care of household chores, exercising, advocating, going live, doing all the things. So we're just going to have a nice, relaxing live to get to know one another, to talk about Michael and Kyron, to talk about yesterday's vigil for Kyron. Yeah, I just want to say hi to everybody. Who do we got in the house? We know my daughter's in the house. Tabitha, thank you for coming in. Sarah, suspicious. Hello. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Latanya Allen is in the house. Hello. And Eve is here. Thank you so much for being here. I truly do have like some of the best chat. Oh, thank you for all the monkeys and the frogs. These are my boys. These are my boys. I am obsessed, you could probably say. Leslie, thank you for coming in. Positive Tea Time is here. Hello. Kelly, nice to see you. Right. Yep, I just started, love. Let's see. Is there anybody else here? D Lucky is here. Good to see you. So many new faces. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Sassy is in the house. Y'all are awesome. Maria is here. Maria, are you who I met last night at the vigil that we spoke after? I'm just want to make sure I know faces and names. If not, then I just got it wrong, but it's good to see you, Maria. Either way. I had people show up from my Kyron Horman Facebook group. So that was really cool. I got to meet a few people from my actual Kyron Horman Facebook group at last night's candle vigil. It was amazing. And I got to meet Desiree again. I got to meet Doug Bishop. I got to see Desiree Young's other son, Quinn, her husband, Tony. I was sitting right next to Kyron's grandparents and I didn't even know it. I can't even tell you what an emotional night that was. The last time I met Desiree Young was at the annual car wash that she usually does every year. Okay, Maria. Yeah, I thought I might have gotten it wrong, but I wanted to just check and say hi anyway. But thank you for joining from Texas. I appreciate that so much. But I had met her originally before at a car wash, totally different setting because last night was such an emotional night. Desiree Young, she was a mess talking to reporters, breaking down constantly. It's Wednesday, June 4th, 15 years has gone by, and her son has been missing this whole time. And her mother instinct told her right from the beginning that, is that why that's not working? Hold on a second, y'all. Okay. Anyway, from the very first day, Desiree Young had her suspicions about Terry Horman, Kyron's stepmother, who was the last known person to see Kyron alive. This is Kyron Horman. This is the last picture ever taken of Kyron Horman, taken at the science fair at Skyline Elementary School on June 4th, 2010, the day that Kyron disappeared in Portland, Oregon. If you have any tips, any information at all in Kyron's case about Terry Horman, Kyron's disappearance, Dee Dee Spicer, please call the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office tip line at 503-988-0560. And we are also here to talk about Michael Joseph Vaughan. Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted from Fruitland, Idaho, July 27th of 2021. Excuse me. And there are 4 known suspects, updated January 10th of 2025. Their names are Sarah and Stacy Wandra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff. So these in Michael's case, we have known suspects, which in Kyron's case, we do not. Any information for either is over a $50,000 reward, and you can remain anonymous. If you have any information about Michael Joseph Vaughan and his abduction, or any information to turn into Fruitland Police Department about Michael, these suspects, please call law enforcement, Fruitland Police Department, 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too small. Please let law enforcement decide whether or not your tip is credible. There are many layers to both Michael and Kyron's cases. So I thought maybe just having a live on all things Kyron and Michael so that the chat can ask questions about things you might be confused about. Now would be the time. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I have been so exhausted that I want to go live, but I wasn't wanting to put in like that ton of effort into the live, and I just wanted to relax and just get to know some people in chat. We've got lots of new subscribers coming in, lots of people asking lots of questions. So I thought this would be a great time to have one of those really relaxed lives where we just sit and talk. Why? Oh, why is this layout weird? Hold on. Could have been because of the way I had my phone, and now I'm going to have to figure out. That's funny. I'll have to figure out all this all over again. But whew, Big O is in the house. Good to see you. So yeah, I love answering questions. Rizzo in the house. Thank you so much for coming in, hun. Randy Lee, thank you so much for coming in. Prayers for the families with your super chat. I really do appreciate you so much, hon. You're so kind and so giving. Thank you for all of the support here at Missing PNW. She has us dancing in our chairs right off of the bat tonight. Please thank Randy. I cannot do this without all of you, and I just appreciate you guys so much. Brandy, you're just so lovely. Thank you. Hey, Rizzo. Brandy also says, I agree with your daughter. You have what it takes to really make a difference. I hope you consider upgrading your stuff because you deserve good things to show your success. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know too much about upgrading. I know that I may never sit in front of the camera and show my face because YouTube streets got some pretty ugly people out there that want to pick on creators, and I'm just not trying to have all that drama. I'm almost 300 pounds. I've got one eye that's smaller than the other because of a stroke that I had a few years ago. Yeah, just lots of good things to give people a reason to pick on me. But I guess that's not going to matter here soon since I did my interview with KATU News yesterday, and my face will be on the news, and I'll be showing it here Wednesday, the entire news broadcast and some other stuff on Kyron Horman's case. Hello, Amy. Welcome in. Number 21. Kimberly Mann says, thank you for coming in. So hit that like button. Thank you, Rizzo. Thank you, Kelly, so much. You guys are so kind. They just get so ugly out here on the YouTube streets. They really do. It's awful. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to all day live Wednesday for Kyron, and we'll be doing an all day live for Michael Vaughan as well on July 27th. So keep an eye out, click that notification bell, make sure that you get those notifications for those all day lives. I do that because it just brings in so much awareness, people coming and going, and I can sit and talk about, their beautiful faces and their stories and tell their stories in a way that people can understand exactly what happened and who the monsters are that are involved in these cases. Because, you've got Michael Vaughan's case where we've got 4 suspects and there may be more. You got Kyron Horman's case, no named person of interest, no named suspects, but then you have the focus being on Terry Horman and Dee Dee Spicer. I mean, even at the vigil last night, Desiree Young still in all of the videos that were popping up talking about Terry Horman and Dee Dee being involved in Kyron's disappearance, and it's huge. And, in the Michael Vaughan case, we know that the DA has already said that charges are coming on all 4 suspects, and they are. And as soon as they get all of the paperwork and everything done, then those charges come. And, justice is coming for both of them this year. They're digitizing and compiling Kyron's case, and they're getting ready to charge in Michael's. And as soon as everything's digitized and stuff in Kyron's case, his stuff will be turned over to the FBI and then to the BAU to do a behavioral analysis, because Kyron's case is a no body case. And right now, as far as I know, Michael Vaughan is also a no body case. There's so many, familiar things here. The only one thing that isn't familiar or the same in their two cases is that the person that took Kyron knew Kyron. It was his stepmom. And then we have a stranger abduction and the Michael Vaughan case. Thank you for the prayers. And also another huge thing here is we've got two amazing, strong, powerful mamas fighting to bring awareness, fighting to keep their sons' faces out there. Brandy Neal Vaughan, Michael's mom, and Desiree Young, Kyron's mom. And, it's also really familiar that Tyler Vaughan, Michael's dad, he's quiet and reserved and stays in the background and everything. And so does Kane Horman, Kyron's father. Very, very, very similar things going on here. And these two women, when I say are powerful, Brandy and Desiree, I don't know how they do it. I just don't know how they keep going. And they want justice. They want justice for their sons. Their entire families do want justice. But man, these mamas, they get out there and they fight to advocate for their children. Well, for their sons. Jemima is in the house. Nice to see you, hun. Yeah, it is definitely just, so sad. Both of them very young. Kyron Horman was 7 years old when he disappeared. Michael Vaughan was 5 when he was abducted. That's a very young age. And they both have missed out on a lot in their life. So the reason it keeps going in Texas trip is because it is so far out of the norm. I saw some of the live stream but missed the candle. Oh, that's okay, hun. And I think they had to do the candle vigil a little earlier than they wanted to because it was taking the sun so long to go down. But it was very emotional. I was sitting right directly in front of Desiree, and with her being so emotional, talking about Kyron, man, mamas, daddies should never lose their child. And to not know what happened, to not know if they're dead or alive, to just that not knowing in these cases is devastating to these parents and families. And, we're going on 4 years in the Michael Vaughan case in July. And we're also, we're approaching 15 years and 2 days in Kyron Horman's case. The difference there is just, I pray and hope to God that Brandy and her family aren't sitting here waiting 15 years from now. And how amazing is it to be moving forward in Kyron's case after 15 years? We've got huge things going on in Kyron's case right now, things that we've never seen or heard before. I mean, to have the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, the Gresham Police Department, the new DA having new eyes. He's ready to push forward. First DA ready to push forward in 15 years. That's huge. Getting ready to hand it over to the FBI. That's gigantic. And then let's just add the BAU on top of that. Huge. And as soon as charges, I mean, that is huge in Michael's case. We know charges are coming on all 4 suspects. That is what you want to see, those charges. Hello. What is it? Eileen, good to see you. Did Kyron live with the stepmom or was that visiting? No, he lived with his stepmom and his biological father, his father. The stepmom was actually the last person to see Kyron, and witnesses say that Kyron left Skyline Elementary School with Terry. One of those witnesses was Kyron's own personal bus driver and Carson's friend's grandmother and sister. And Kyron actually stopped and talked to Carson on his way leaving the parking lot with his stepmom and baby sister, walking in the direction of the Horman truck. Those witnesses have been around, I believe, from the very beginning. That's so great of you to be able to be there for Kyron. Desiree is really working hard. I hope she gets answers finally. I do believe, honestly do believe that answers are coming. Charges will be coming, actually, I feel soon. Well, soon after everything is digitized and compiled. Right? How can it not be, Terry? Thank you, Juniper's Tarot and Astrology, for coming in. Hello, PNW. Good to see you. Love good news is coming. I truly hope and pray. Thank you so much. Yeah, I believe so too. I think it's going to take a while for them to get through the files. But yes, we have to be patient. But I think justice is coming down the line in the near future. Why has the stepmom not been arrested yet? Up until recently, the new, evidence in Kyron's case that came out within the last few years, I think is what's finally pushed Kyron's case. Pictures of Kyron on burner phones that D.D. Spicer and Terry Horman had on June 4th of 2010 when Kyron came up missing. And that is huge because that puts them directly involved in Kyron's disappearance. Desiree Young, Kyron's mom, talked about that at the Crime Fest Northwest of the summer of August of 2024. So last August, charges were coming, and then the Casey Anthony case came, and district attorneys got pretty scared, pushing forward with no body cases. Things just got really weird, and we haven't had a really good DA to want to push forward in Kyron's case until now. Nathan Vasquez has promised Kyron's family to work very hard on Kyron's case, and that's why they're going through the entire case all over again. I answered your question. Yes, and there are, I believe I read, Jemima, that there's like over 40 witnesses that came forward in Kyron's case. Yes, there's, I believe, many, many witnesses. Why has it been said that there are no reliable eyewitnesses for that? No reliable? Never heard that there's been no reliable witnesses that have came forward in Kyron's case. So I don't know if you're talking about Kyron or Michael, but I haven't heard anything of no reliable eyewitnesses for either case, honestly. Many, many tips have came in. Scooby Mom. Missing PNW Crimes. Who did the phone interview with Misty, Brandon's girlfriend? She knows something. She messed up and said Brandon didn't do this one. I did the interview with uh, Misty. I also know that Brooks put up recordings that she had when she was talking on the phone with Misty. Misty doesn't know anything, in my honest opinion. She wasn't even with Brandon when Michael came up missing. Um, she only knows what she's been told by Brandon. And I know she was friends with Stacy Wandra, but she didn't even know that Michael Vaughan had came up missing until she got together with Brandon, as far as she says. You want to search for him? I do go up there. I love taking videos up there in that area, just search or to just take videos of the search areas and everything else. But, as far as searching for him now, we're being asked not to search for Kyron because law enforcement is looking for Kyron. These pictures of Kyron that were found on the burner phones, you know, they have a GPSA location. So they're using geofencing to locate Kyron. We know that there's communication on those phones because Desiree Young has talked about it. Information that comes from Desiree Young is very important to me because she works with law enforcement across the entire, all of the United States. So, when she says something's going on, I believe her. She also works with the FBI. She works in training CART's team, for missing people, and she helps other families of missing persons. So she would look like a fool to put things out there on her Facebook or, when she's talking like on Doug Bishop or at the crime fest that she does and stuff. She would look ridiculous to be spreading any misinformation in her son's case. And law enforcement wouldn't want her teaching, wouldn't want her out there at all if she was going to do something like that. Kimberly Mann, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and you are so very welcome. Let's do a little dance. I really do appreciate your kindness. Which area did Kyron go missing from? I remember from years ago seeing about the case. He was adorable. Jemima, he lived in a house on 5 acres of land. You had to travel up a gravel road and a gravel driveway to go way up and around to even get up into his house. The school, Skyline Elementary School, where he disappeared from, actually sits in front of a rainforest. Forest Park has like over 80 miles of trails, and that rainforest is very, very thick with, evergreen trees, bushes. You have blackberry bushes, ivy, huge, giant trees. Very, very dense area, very, very thick, very hard to get through. Looking for Kyron was not an easy task. Do you think it could, a specific spot that Terry and King used to go to when they were cheating on Desiree? I don't know. I do not know. I have no clue, where they could have put Kyron. And the only thing I know is that Kane was unfaithful. So I don't know anything else but that. They have the location from those burner phones. And that's why they're using geofencing to try to find him. I don't know that they have found any trace of Kyron, but I do know that items from the Horman house have been, there were a couple of items from what I understand found from the Horman house connected to Terry. I do not know where that was though. You know, and something Shelley, they have pictures after he left the school on the burner phones that Dee Dee and Terry disposed of. Yes, Dee Dee thought she destroyed those burner phones. And then she led police to those burner phones later on, thinking she was smart, thinking that she had destroyed those phones. And she did not, because just a few years ago, new technology was able to pull things from those burner phones that law enforcement has had since 2010. Well, I will play you. Let me look for it real quick. Let me make sure I have room here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do have room for one more thing up here on panel. Hold on one second. Let me find it. I have something. Desiree Young talks about the pictures. Where is it? Just give me a second. I will find it. Where did I put it? She talked about it at the Northwest Crime Fest. Or Crime Fest Northwest. I don't know why I say it the other way. Look in here one more time. I think it might be in this one. Let's see.
As we first got there that night, we pulled up to the driveway and we started pulling. You go handle the people, right? This seems, you know, it was crazy. And I need to figure out CSI. I think it's just crazy, right? I'm going to take care of that stuff. And so thankfully, and ATVs, it did help us to go to the school and be interviewed.
Hold on. That's the wrong one. So now I know which one it is. It might be number wait. This one.
So they separated Tony and I into constantly push that they are critical of each other after Kyron went missing. And she did help law enforcement locate them. She had tossed them, but she did help to recover those. And we now know.
Here we go, right here. So let me just rewind just a little bit. She's talking about Dee Dee Spicer leading law enforcement to these burner phones.
Recover those. And we now know the DA back in 2012 offered Dee Dee Spicer full immunity. I didn't know that then. We now have found evidence on those cell phones.
Evidence on those cell phones.
Dee Dee did this for Terry.
Evidence on those cell phones that Dee Dee Spicer did this for Terry Horman, Kyron's stepmom.
The only thing we need to figure out is where is Kyron, right? And we need to hold Terry and Dee Dee accountable. So it's critical. So what's next? I'm gonna keep searching for my son. Well, I'm not sleeping anyway, but I'm going to asking them to leave press conference. Honestly, on the fact.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the one where she...
The entire thing was giving me pause, right? It was giving me that feeling in the pit up to Portland. Just becoming exactly what I needed in that email. And then she also reminded her that day by putting in a group. I didn't learn this in 2010. As you drive out about...
Why am I having such a difficult time? I better get this together before Wednesday. Oh my goodness, where did I put that file? That's going to drive me nuts. Going to drive me... Oh. And then it was sitting right in front of me the whole entire time and said evidence, pictures. It was the one that wasn't numbered.
Evidence in the...
So she's going to go over the evidence that they have in Kyron's case. And this is where she will talk about the burner phones being found as well. I will sit and pause as we go through. And then in the background, you can barely hear Rebecca Morris, the author that wrote the book, Boy Missing, The Search for Kyron Horman. Back in 2019, she worked with Desiree Young to write the book. And in the background, she says pictures of Kyron after the school. And Desiree says, yes, there's a picture of it. And then she talks about location. Dee Dee Spicer is stepmom Terry Horman's friend and lover at the time.
Truck, the bed of the truck,
physical DNA in the bed of the truck as one piece of evidence.
DNA evidence. We have things missing from the house that she used.
Things missing from the house that she used.
We have the injury to her leg.
There was an injury on Terry Horman's leg. It was seen the day that Kyron disappeared by somebody at the gym where Terry went later that day before actually going back home. That person came forward and told law enforcement that she saw Terry Horman at the gym and she had a gash on her leg. It was a fresh gash. Terry tried to say that, you know, she dropped a weight on her leg. Well, dropping a weight on your leg is going to give you some kind of a bruise. It's not going to give you a gash. You know what I mean?
From that day, we know that we have photos on those cell phones.
We have photos on those cell phones. She just said it right here, so let me back up just a little bit.
Cell phones of, we have the picture of it. Photos on those cell phones of, we have the picture of it.
She says we have photos on those cell phones. We have a picture of it. We don't know what it is. A lot of people are assuming that it is a picture of an unalive Kyron. I honestly believe if they had a picture of an unalive Kyron that both of these women would be in prison right now. I don't know what it is. It could be a burial spot. I don't know. I have not been speculating too much about it, but she says there's a picture of it.
We don't know where that picture was taken.
We don't know where that picture was taken.
A picture kind of
Yes.
after the school.
Yes.
And then just then in the background, you hear Rebecca Morris say a picture of Kyron. after the school? And Desiree says yes. Let me rewind just a little bit so you can hear that part.
A picture kind of after the school.
Yes.
So that's just, it's really huge information to know there are pictures of Kyron after the school. There wasn't a picture of Terry Horman's leg. There's a picture of Kyron after the school and a picture of it, which we don't know what it is. I don't understand why it's taking them so long to figure out the location. If they have GPS location, that should be easy to figure out. Plug it in Google Earth and it will take you directly there. No, it is not that easy. You got cell phone pings and all that other stuff. You got the GPS location. Your GPS location is huge. It could be acres and acres and acres of land. And that's why you have to use geofencing. Pretty much like a 10 by 10 you search, then you go to another 10 by 10 and search another. Geofencing and GPS and stuff, it doesn't work that way. It will pinpoint you down, yes, to a direct location, but that isn't like 100,000%. It's only of the area, not the exact location. And witnesses said Terry never even worked out that day. She just walked around showing the picture of Kyron at the science fair to people. Yeah, she was only in the gym for like 15 to 17 minutes, I think is what Desiree says. Yeah, technology is getting better and better now, so I'm sure they are working on that. Yeah, geofencing is something they are using, and that is major. Just looking through everything. Thank you, Sarah, so much for answering so many questions in chat. I appreciate that so much. You know, and in the Michael Vaughan case, you have, you know, let me just share my screen real quick. Because I just, oh, is that not what I wanted to do? Sorry, this is where I wanted to go. J.D. Huff here in Michael Vaughan's case saying that based off evidence, they believe. So based off evidence from everything that they used in technology and the anomalies in the backyard and using the cadaver dogs that actually hit on the death scent, you know, a deceased scent, which is the only thing they hit on. That's what they're trained to hit on. They don't hit on anything else. That Michael was once buried in the backyard. And later moved from the property. Brandon Shurtleff actually was just offered a plea deal. Law enforcement seems to think that Brandon Shurtleff knows where Michael Vaughan is because he was moved from the Wanderer's Yard to an unknown location. And in that plea deal, it was, you give us Michael and we'll take, you know, the firing squad, the death penalty off the table. They searched the Wanderer's residence as well. Additional investigative evidence was found in the Wanderer's house. These are all pieces of evidence that they have in the Michael Vaughan case. which is what has led to the DA, bringing forth charges on all 4 suspects. And those that are, involved in Kyron's disappearance are Stacy, Sarah Wandra, Stacy Wandra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff. Why did this? Hold on one second, you guys. I found a really good clip earlier. I wanted to go over in Michael's case and I lost it. Oh, wait. Was that where it was? Yeah, belief of abduction or death. J.D. Huff has stated, based on evidence, they strongly believe that Michael was abducted and is deceased. His remains buried and later moved to the property from the property on Red Wing Street. Acting on a credible tip is the reason why they went to the Wandra's backyard, because Stacy Wandra was incarcerated and told law enforcement that Monkey was buried in his backyard. And they went there to find him. They dug 3 to 4 feet down, sifting the dirt. I mean, his family had to listen to these dump trucks and tractors and everything, because it's like a 4-minute walk from the Vaughan family home over to the Wandras, one way in and out of that neighborhood there on 8th Street. Brandy and the family listening to tractors, dump trucks, coming and going. These dump trucks were leaving the neighborhood, taking the dirt to a location so that science, can be used to sift through the dirt. I mean, it was an excruciating thing for the family to go through. And yeah, digging down 3 to 4 feet, the entire backyard. They did not leave. Yeah, even the trees were pulled up back there. And then used cadaver dogs, which alerted to human remains, although no one or none were ultimately found. But cadaver dogs, we're not talking 1 or 2, we're talking multiple cadaver dogs hit an alert to human remains in the Wandra's backyard. And then you have ground penetrating radar being used that detected anomalies in the backyard. That's when the dirt has been shifted around. It's not compact. They can tell that something in that little spot or that area was moved around. Then again, you have that evidence, that investigative evidence that has been processed. You have J.D. Huff talking about needing $6,000 just a few months back, asking for it out of Michael Vaughan's reward money. That was to purchase something of evidential value. So whatever that was it must have been really important, because the city of Fruitland is actually the ones responsible for releasing any of the money out of Michael's reward money. And they released the $6,000 to J.D. Huff and the police department to purchase something of evidential value. So it must not have been something they could have got a search warrant and just grabbed, or they would have done it, right? And then you got people out there spinning narratives and, lying. Well, I don't know if they know they're lying, but listening to suspects tell them that they know exactly what it was that was purchased. When, if you know what was purchased, why would you even talk about it to begin with? Because did law enforcement say it was okay to talk about what they purchased in Fruitland of evidential value? Makes no sense. Where else was I going with this? Yeah, what else is there? Nope, that's everything. So I mean, like, there is evidence, and it's not all just circumstantial evidence either. There is good evidence. In Michael Vaughan's case, you've got doorbell cam, CCTV cam, any cameras that or footage that may have came in from anywhere else that may have seen them. We know that Adrian Lucian was at an Applebee's. We know Sarah and Brandon were inside of a mall. Usually businesses have camera footage. You have Stacy Wanderer saying he went to a pharmacy and that he was here, there, and everywhere else. So I'm sure they're checking out CCTV in those areas, pinpointing down a location and everything else. But the most important thing is they also have the truck leaving to go to Cuna that night, shortly after, during the time that Michael Vaughan was abducted, between 6:40 and 7:10. The Wanderas and Brandon are leaving in the truck, leaving the neighborhood at 7:08, in that time that Michael was abducted. Huge. So many people, talk about circumstantial evidence. It's just circumstantial. It's not just circumstantial evidence. I've seen people go to prison for the rest of their lives based off circumstantial evidence. So it's not just circumstantial evidence. It's evidence. It takes a good prosecutor. It takes a good DA to push that through. And that's where cases lack, or cases get lost, or cases are, no one gets punished for anything. You have to have a good prosecutor, a good DA to push through and prosecute using circumstantial evidence. You start putting the wrong people in place of something that important, you're going to lose. And we also know all of the new searches going on in Michael Vaughan's case. They went to Brandon's grandmother's graveyard. And I know that they are searching for Michael. They want to find Michael. They want to find his body. They want to use that as another piece of evidence, just like they wanted to in Kyron Horman's case. But 15 years later in Kyron's case, it's just getting harder and harder, to find Kyron. And if they do find the exact location, how much are they going to find? Honestly, after 15 years, bodies decompose. It's sad to say, it's hard to say, hard to talk about, but it's the truth. Jen, thank you for coming in, hun. It's good to see you. Kimberly Mann says, did they go to Grants Pass, Oregon to get a dog? But I don't know who all went. Yes, Grants Pass, Oregon. They went. I'm not sure who went either. Brandon wouldn't answer me when we asked if he went to Portland shortly after Michael disappeared or was abducted. But Grants Pass, Oregon is all the way down on the Oregon-California border. And yes, they took a trip all the way down there. They also stopped here in Vancouver, Washington, and also went to Walla Walla, Washington. But the way that they say they went is just, instead of doing like some great big huge loop, they look like a star on a map going from one place to another, going east, west, south, north. It doesn't make sense. Justice for Kyron. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I appreciate the super chat. I really do. Thank you. You're so kind. Rogue is in the house. When are they going to arrest Adrian and Brandon? If they don't do it, I am afraid one of them will unalive themselves. You know what's really strange, Rogue, is I actually had a conversation with Brandon. I had to ask him if he was okay, because he was some very strange text messages were coming in. I did a checkup, I talked to Dan Guthrie about it, his friend, his buddy. Dan also said that he was acting really strange and stuff. I even showed the text messages to Misty because I was very concerned that he was going to do something like that. Brandon assured me that he was okay. I just kind of tried to be his friend and let him know, like, you'll be okay. Everything will be okay, because it really was something I was worried about with Brandon. As far as Adrian goes, I believe his state of mind is pretty damn good right now. From what I understand, he's doing really well as far as, taking care of himself. I wonder what it was that they purchased. I know, right? I'm wondering the same thing. Like, you can't get a warrant for this thing, but you have to purchase something. Could be anything, really. I'm sorry you're not having a good day. I hope being here cheers you up a little bit, hon. What is this? Winnemucca, Oregon, March 22nd, when Stacy was locked up. Wasn't he? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Avi's in the house. Thank you, hon, for coming in. I hope your mother-in-law's doing well. I've been praying for you. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Winnacoma. I doubt that arrest will be coming in Kyron's case by June 4th or September 9th. That's kind of soon. They are digitizing a case for Kyron. And last I heard, and this was like over 10 years ago, Kyron's case was 71 4-inch binders. A conversation that I had yesterday, I found out that they're still working on, what does it mean to digitize a case? That means take it all from the paperwork and put it into a computer, file it, make different files of different subjects, of different things, like a file of eyewitnesses, a file of evidence, a file of, video footage, a file of this, of that. So they are taking everything from paperwork in Kyron's case and digitizing it and compiling it all into one location. So it's much easier to go through, read, and look at information, because even according to Detective Tabor, when I first talked to him a couple of years ago, he had said the case file was a mess, not in order. That must have been very frustrating for him, especially considering that he wanted to take his work home. He has a picture of Kyron. He works on Kyron's case from home. And here he is having a difficult time, as the main investigator in Kyron Horman's case, being able to do his, investigation, because it's just a bunch of paperwork. I can't even imagine. Imagine 71 4-inch binders full of information over 10 years ago. So it's got to be huge by now. Thank you for stopping by, hon. Thank you for coming into the live last night and always showing so much support. I really do appreciate you. Definitely, whatever they found is something that's going to help Michael's case, because I'm sure J.D. Huff had to talk about well, maybe he didn't have to talk about what it actually was, but it had to been important enough for him to ask the city of Fruitland to get $6,000 from the reward money to pay for this evidence. Kimberly says, in my opinion, Brandon don't want his mom to find out he actually was physically involved and not just a suspect. Yes, that absolutely could be true because he's a mama's boy. I personally think, and this is my own opinion, that Tina Marille, Brandon's mom, knows a lot more than she says, and the way that she protects her son sometimes worries me that she does know more and hasn't talked to law enforcement about it, which is a huge, huge, big no-no because Fruitland is going to go after anybody that's hindering Michael's investigation. Anybody. It's not going to matter who it is. If they find out, the person will get charged with something. Thank you, Sam. It's touch and go right now, but we're doing our best. Well, Missing PNW is definitely giving you prayers, hun. I absolutely adore you. I'm sorry you are going through so much right now with your mother-in-law. I can't imagine. So just sending prayers for you, your husband, your family, your mom-in-law. That's got to be tough. You know, when our elders get older and we got to start taking care of them because they're not doing good, life can get really hard really fast. So, definitely praying for you. Yeah, there's so many suspicious things in both cases. AI could go through it. Oh, yeah, true. I mean, if it's digitalized, I'm sure that AI could actually. You know, just the fact that everything in Kyron's case is being handed over to the FBI is huge to me because Dee Dee Spicer's immunity is Oregon state immunity. And when the federal, government gets involved, that means that her immunity may not mean anything at all because it's on a federal level and not a state level. Yeah, I can't imagine how parents in both cases are just absolutely so frustrated. Um, you know, Parents want to keep fighting, they want to keep advocating. They don't want to be upset with law enforcement, but they get upset with law enforcement. They get upset with the DAs and stuff because all they want is justice for their children. And that's what parents of a missing child should do and should act like. If a parent, just like we've been talking about, YouTube's been talking about Jill and Jack's case out of Canada, the 4-year-old and 6-year-old that came up missing a few weeks back. Like, those parents aren't acting angry, and that is suspicious in itself because parents do get frustrated and upset because they want things to be going on, a certain way, and neither of the parents, not the stepdad or the mom, are acting that way. And it was just an episode of Deception Detective that I saw, so it is really telling when you don't have parents like super frustrated about things. Mama's in the house. Hey, hun, how are you? Brandy Neil Vaughn is here. This is Michael Joseph Vaughn's mama. Hi, Sam and everyone. Just dropping in to say hey, love for Michael, Kyron, and everyone here. My apologies. I will not be staying. Not having the best of days. Well, we are definitely praying for you. If you're listening, hun, we absolutely love you. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi to everybody. I know everybody in chat always loves seeing you here, but you take care of you because that's the most important thing, always. We're always praying for you. Sending you all love and prayers. I will get justice and bring our babies home. Thank you all for your continued support. Please continue to share Michael's beautiful face. That is the number one thing that you can absolutely do in both cases, is share on your social media. Share, whether you want to go into Wikipedia, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If you want to, hop over to my Kyron Horman Case Revisited or Michael Vaughan Case Revisited Facebook groups, where there are flyers there, you can grab one, you can share it on social media. And if you've got multiple social media sites, use them all. We have to have that awareness out there for these children. When I do lives on Kyron, I only have very few people in here. It's hard to keep the awareness going after 15 years. And Michael's case definitely needs those flyers. We need the community out there right now because charges are coming. So share. You can never share too much when it comes to missing kids. Sending prayers and strength with lots of love for everyone and anyone who needs it. Thank you so much, Brandy. We love you so much. I was thinking about you hardcore yesterday as I was at Kyron's vigil. I'm curious about the Winnemucca thing. When did anyone say anything about that? Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard anything about it. I mean, I'm actually wondering, is that like that reservoir? Because I heard some stuff about the reservoir that I heard they went to go swimming or something. And they said that they went there on a specific day when in actuality, it wasn't even true. Stacy Wander had lied about it. I know it's like she's not having a good day. I hope she's feeling okay today. Thank you guys so much for supporting Brandy. Eve says, Brandy Neal, prayers, hun, for you and your family, especially Michael Vaughan, monkey. And something else, you have all of these missing children out there. What happens? I spoke to somebody yesterday that said, man, when I first heard about the Michael Vaughan case, I thought the parents were suspicious. I thought that they did something. And in the very beginning, and a child comes up missing, and you don't know if it's an abduction, if you don't know what happened to the child, you don't know if they're dead or alive, if they wandered off or whatever, suspicions run wild, crazy. Everybody was talking about the parents of Jack and, I almost said Jill, and now I can't remember her name, but Jack and his sister, when they came up missing, everybody started pointing fingers at the parents immediately. And the thing is, family members are looked at. They're looked at immediately. Law enforcement wants to check them off the list as quickly as possible, because when a child goes missing and nobody knows what happens, it's usually a parent, a step parent, a family member, or somebody that the child knows. Very rarely is it a stranger abduction. So, it frustrated me yesterday hearing that, because I'm so close to Brandy and I love her so much, hearing that, but also during this conversation had to put out there, yeah, of course, people can think that, but, now they're suspects in Michael's case. So we know now it's an abduction and that the parents didn't have anything to do with it and that they were checked off the list and those types of things. But then you have people that just don't want, for no reason at all, do they want to have anything, which Jack and Lily, thank you, Sarah. You're amazing. When I fumble my words, Sarah's always right there, like with it. Thank you so much. Everybody is entitled to their own opinions. But when your opinion, how do I say this? When your opinion or your personality or whatever doesn't want to take into consideration any new evidence, any new information, you have to find a way, or some people have to find a way to continuously keep bashing these parents that have nothing to do with their child's abduction or them disappearing. And it's like that in Michael's case and in Kyron's case. You know, the Vaughan family has been attacked over and over and over and over and over again from the very beginning. And there are people out there that still want to spin the narrative that they have something to do with it. They have to know something. They're just not saying. And then in Kyron's case, you know, you got Terry supporters out there that run Facebook groups and do all of this stuff because they believe everything that Terry tells them, and then they have to spin their own narratives and talk all of their crap and want to even, this is the worst part in both cases, attack the parents of these missing children. They're not just talking about what they feel their opinion is or giving their opinions. They start attacking, spinning their own narratives to attack the parents any way that they can for clicks, likes, views, attention. I don't ever understand it. I don't understand how people can attack the parents. These parents have lost their children. They've sat back and they've wondered where their child was for days and days on end, not sleeping, having nightmares, you know, and it doesn't go on just for days, hours, and minutes. It goes on for years and never stops and never gets any better. Just like Desiree Young and Tony Young said yesterday, it doesn't get any better, ever. People make their opinion as fact. That is fine. That is a fine line. Absolutely right. There never seems to be any compassion. Yeah, you have to be open-minded. You have to be able and be willing to take in new information. And with that being said, I want to show you guys something here because this is the perfect example, because I did want to talk about this today. And I got the perfect example today to be able to show you. So I'm going to show you a little clip. It is coming out Tuesday or Wednesday. This is a preview that I got from the reporter. Can't remember her name right now. Let me look real quick. The reporter that I've been talking to actually sent me this preview because she knows I like sharing stuff. Her name is Shelby Slaughter from KATU News. And she sent me this preview. And it talks about some things. And then I'm going to show you guys how things get spun, how narratives get spun.
What happened the day that little boy vanished from school 15 years ago? His family desperate for answers.
I just didn't think that would be our story ever.
What makes this case so hard to solve?
Do you think there is someone out there today that knows what happened to Kyron?
Oh, absolutely.
Plus, K2 News reveals the emails you've never seen before.
The emails you've never seen before in Kyron Horman's case. There are hate emails out there. Desiree Young has spoken about for years and years. She actually used these hate emails and these hate emails are written by Terry Horman to different people, one including Desiree Young's oldest son's Quinn, his stepmother. She was able to use these emails to get custody back of Quinn. But from what I understand, after yesterday being at the vigil, there are more than just emails to Quinn's stepmother. There's lots of these emails.
Unsolved Mystery of Kyron Horman, Wednesday at 6:30 on K2 News.
So the unsolved mystery of Kyron Horman coming out at 6:30 Wednesday. And then this is Desiree Young talking about these hate emails.
And then on Friday, the police showed you some emails that Terry had sent to friends of hers describing her marriage to Kane and her feelings about your son. I know you can't reveal the specifics because of the investigation, but generally, what did they say?
It's very clear from Terry's horrible words that she had a severe hatred for Kyron, and that she blamed a lot of the marital problems between Kane and herself on Kyron, that it was a huge point of contention in their marriage, and she had expressed in great detail her hatred for Kyron. I now believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that not only is she capable of hurting Kyron, that it's clear that she could have hurt him in the worst possible way.
Do you still hold out hope that your son is alive?
I will until the day I die.
And it's, hate emails sent to several people talking about Kane and Terry's marriage. She's writing people. We know about the emails that Desiree used to get her son Quinn back with Quinn's stepmom. But in that article, you hear her talk. There's several emails, and you hear that there are going to be emails released on Wednesday. And these Terry supporters, this is what I'm talking about. This is what they do. This is how they spin stuff. Oh, wait. That's not it. Hold on a second. I get all excited, and then I mess up. So, this is a post from a Terry supporter Facebook group that I refuse to tell anybody about. You hear Desiree Young there. She is so upset. She feels like the worst thing could have happened to her son. She is devastated, in tears, believing something horrific happened. She's talking about these emails. She's on the news. She has no reason to lie. She has no reason to hinder her son's investigation. And then yet you have people like this in the group that say, hey, just saw this quick teaser on TV for a story next Wednesday at 6:30 KATU. It says never before seen emails will be shown. And this is huge because, we know there that these hate emails out there, but we've never been told, just like you heard in that news report. They've never been seen. She couldn't give specifics. Well, Desiree, over the years, she's gotten so frustrated with her son's case not pushing forward, she keeps dropping bombshells. Wednesday, these emails, it will be another bombshell. I guarantee you. These are I guarantee you it's going to be a bombshell. I'm actually curious to know if it's those hate emails or is it something else. But then this person, the admin of this Terry Horman support group, says they will do anything for views, laugh out loud. Emails are old news and nothing like what Desiree Young makes them out to be at all, unless she just made some fake emails to put on the show. I haven't watched, LOL. Seems like something Desiree Young would do, in my opinion. What in the actual fuck is she talking about? Come on. Excuse my language, you guys, but Jesus, how hateful can you be towards one mom to think that she's going to make up these emails? The woman, Desiree Young, that works with law enforcement, the FBI, the cards team, and everything, looking for missing people, looking for her missing son, knows more privileged information than any of us or this idiotic person talking here. Come on. She just faked emails just for the show. These emails are old news. Well, it is old news that there were hatred emails, but guess what? They've never been shown before. I'm sick and tired of hearing people attacking the parents in these missing children's cases. Leave them alone. Unless there's evidence pointing in a direction, unless, there are some facts to look at, we can't keep attacking these innocent family members, these innocent parents. This is sickening. She should not have this Facebook group. She should not be allowed to have her YouTube channel. She spreads more misinformation and rumor in Kyron's case. She'll even know that something is true and she will still lie about it. It is sick. It is disgusting. Sarah Suspicious actually used to be inside that Facebook group. She had to call out the admin in that group. They're just horrible people. But I mean, to say they will do anything for views. Emails are old news and nothing like what Desiree makes them out to be at all, unless she just made some fake emails to put on the show. And what's worse is that these Terry supporters, these haters, they come out of the woodworks around June 4th. Last year, they attacked Desiree Young on her own Facebook, her own personal Facebook account, talking in the comments. They've made pictures of her to make her Desiree look awful. They've even taken my face and turned me into a leprechaun. Yay! I'll be a leprechaun if you want me to. Good luck, right? Who would ever support that weirdo? Trust me, she ain't got nobody in there anymore. Nobody's been watching her Facebook. She doesn't get any likes. Nobody wants to comment. She has so many fake profiles in her Facebook group that she'll sit there and have a conversation with herself with her own fake profiles. Yes, it's true. I stood up for Desiree. I went all in with links and articles and everything, and they blocked me. Yeah. It is revolting. It's sickening. And it's happened, in the Vaughan case as well. Misinformation, lies. It's disgusting and it's gross. People pretending to be Brandy's friends while asking her a bunch of questions and everything else, and recording things that she's saying to later on put out on YouTube and stuff when she didn't even know she was being recorded. And these people are befriending her and being her friends to turn around and release, just causing drama, just wanting that attention. But I don't want to give them too much more attention. I'm just saying this is the kind of stuff that goes on in these cases all the time. So not only are these parents dealing with their missing children being gone, they're dealing with haters as well. How hard would it be for you to read something about yourself where someone thinks that you're responsible for your son's abduction or your son, disappearance? Or the death of your son? Horrific. You would never want to read anything like that about yourself. Something else that I found out this last week, because when I went live, I think it was Saturday, I went live for 12, 17 minutes, something like that, because I was up at Skyline Elementary School testing to see if I could go live for Kyron's vigil. I went to Germantown Road and Cornelius Pass because I thought the because I wanted to do a video, which I did. I shot 2 different videos so that I could come back and have that for Wednesday's live for Kyron. I didn't know that. Tabitha, my daughter, says she even tried attacking me and my siblings. Oh, yeah, that's right. She wrote a bunch of nasty stuff about my kids and everything. And then Tabitha also says, saying my mom was a horrible mom, but little did she know we are all grown and take care of ourselves. That's right. This admin of this group, I had talked out loud and was on a live, and I said something like, you know, I've been so busy in the case working this and working that, you know, I just have forgotten all about my kids and my husband because I'm focused. And she took that, spun it around, and made it sound like I didn't even take care of my children anymore. Not even realizing all my kids are over 30, married with kids, all of them, trying to make it sound like I was some horrible mom forgetting about my kids. My children know. You want me around? You want me to see my grandbabies? You want to come see? Like, I'm all for it. I'll drop anything and everything to see my kids and my babies. Guarantee you. I'm stopping everything. Pretty Assessor, thank you so much for becoming a PNW Whisperer. Hold on one second. I lost you. Hold up. Here we go. Pretty Assessor, thank you so much, hun. I love it, love it, love it. Here we go. So glad to have you here as a Pacific Northwest Missing PNW Whisperer. Love it, love it, love it. New member. If you would like to become a new member, I can throw the link in the comments. Would love to have you, but you can lurk, you can subscribe, you can do all those things. I appreciate anybody and everybody that comes in. You know, I have less than 30 members that pay to be a part of Missing PNW. And being a YouTuber, being new, we don't make a lot of money, and I don't care. It really is for me about these children. It really is. Yeah, they are disgusting weirdos. I agree with you. That lady, not that kid. We got you. We know what you were trying to say. So anyway, I want to take videos, and I do take a couple videos of where these burner phones were thrown in a field. Then I get back home, I find my news report that I had, and I started rereading it, and I got it wrong. These burner phones were not thrown in a field off of Cornelius Pass and Germantown Road. I messed up, y'all, and I'll be the first one to tell you I messed up. August 8th, 2010, it was reported that a tip from Dee Spicer is what sparked a search. Yes, that is true. Search teams were seen near a field off Cornelius Pass Road, about 1 mile south of Skyline School, and on Old Germantown Road, not far from the farm where Dee was working on June 4th. Well, because I know the area, I know that Cornelius Pass Road and Old Germantown Road are far apart from each other by a couple of miles or so. So when I reread this, I'm like, wait, what? Teams were seen near a field off Cornelius Pass Road, about 1 mile south of Skyline School, and on Old Germantown Road. Yes, because in August 8th, they put out flyers with Dee and Terry Horman's face on it and the Horman truck on it. They passed it around all of Old Germantown Road, and they started searching West Wind Farms off of Old Germantown Road. That's the that is where Dee Dee Spicer worked. So that's what they're doing at the beginning of August. So they're searching on Old Germantown Road, but they were searching near a field off Cornelius Pass, about a mile. So what do? I got to find out what is a mile away from the school. So where the red dot is Kaiser Road here on this map. And then up above where it ends is Skyline Boulevard, where Skyline Elementary School is located. Well, from Skyline Boulevard down Cornelius Pass Road to the red dot is Kaiser Road. That is, what does it say here? 2 minutes, 1.1 miles away. 1.1, and that article says 1 mile away. So what was at 1.1 miles away? This field located, the yellow road here is Cornelius Pass, and then where the blue dot is going to the right is Kaiser. This is the field. And if you blew it up, there was no other fields anywhere else around. This was the field. It's so strange. Me and my partner, we've talked about these burner phones just being thrown out. Like, were they purposely placed in this field after law enforcement found out about them because they didn't want them to know the real location of them? And that's why she led them to like a field? Or did Dee Dee panic after whatever happened on her way back to her condominium? She would have had to travel down, she would have had to travel to Highway 26, which you can take Cornelius Pass to get to Tualatin, where her condominium was. So like, did she just panic and throw them out the window after she thought she destroyed them? Was this something, that they did? Did they just... I mean, I guess what it comes down to is being a stupid criminal. Because why not bury the cell phones? Why not put them in water? Why not put them in something heavy and in the water? Why not... You know what I mean? You could get rid of them in so many other ways, and you're just destroying them however she thought she destroyed them, because she didn't, because law enforcement got these burner phones, and now new evidence has been pulled off of them. But, yeah. I don't understand. Me, myself, and I, those are going to be destroyed. If I thought I destroyed them, they're destroyed. I'm talking hammer on concrete till it's in such little bitty tiny little pieces, and then maybe even thrown in a fire afterwards, and then those ashes are going in a lake somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to make sure I get rid of it. I mean, stupid criminals, thank God, because wow, just wow. Like, you're just going to throw them out into a field. And talking about stupid criminals, look at the Michael Vaughan case. You abducted a child from your own neighborhood. Your own neighborhood. Who does that? Knowing that entire neighborhood there in Fruitland is going to be filled with the community, with law enforcement, with firefighters, ambulance drivers, neighbors in the community. Thank God for stupid criminals. They are stupid evil. I agree with you. Not everybody has watched true crime their whole life like we have. Laugh out loud. It's so true. And me and my daughter are sleuths and true crimers, that's for sure, just like so many of us on the YouTube streets. Yes, thank God, right? It's just like, who abducts and thank God they did, Thank God Not even thank God. When you look at it, just there's no thanking God, I guess, but thank God in the aspect of at least that they're going to go down for what they did to Michael. I feel bad for saying it the way that I did, but I would rather have suspects in the child's case than to still, have the Vaughn family out there not knowing anything at all, who was involved or what it, like nothing. Brandy Vaughn and Tyler sat down and read what the DA wrote for charges. They know specifics. Do you know how hard that would be? They knew about the video a year or so ago, longer before she released the video of Stacy Wandra out there, his confession footage that got released on YouTube. She knew about that. She didn't sleep. She just could not sleep after listening to Stacy Wandra talk about her son being buried in a garbage bag out in their backyard, or that duct tape was on his mouth, still on his mouth, according to Stacy. And the way he talked about it was just so matter-of-factly, without even a soul, the way he talked about it. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Thank God there will be yes, there will be. It is so heartbreaking. It's well, like my daughter says, she was taking the words right out of my mouth. That's a silver lining. We can be excited and want certain things in certain cases. And what we want is justice for both of these boys. We want justice for Kyron and Michael. That's why, we are Monkey's Army. We are Kyron's Army here at Missing PNW. Someday I'll be able to, once their cases have been solved, people have gone down, move on to some more cases and talk about other missing children here in the Pacific Northwest. It's something that I'm very dedicated to, something that I really want to do, something that I mentioned to Desiree Young yesterday when I told her that my whole entire aspect on advocating for children has changed from when I first worked on and have been working on and researching Kyron Horman's case to the Michael Vaughan case. And what changed with that is the fact that I've gotten to work close with the Vaughan family, and I have been able to submit information to law enforcement and do things on the inside and work with people in the background on Michael's case versus being able to do that on Kyron's. And I truly hope that after the conversations that I had yesterday with Doug Bishop and Desiree, that I can move forward and maybe work in the background or do, things for Kyron in a different way. And I want to continue doing that to keep bringing awareness and learn how to do it better as somebody to advocate for these kids, because it means so much to me. I don't know what I will do when these cases are solved, and I have nothing to talk about when it comes to Kyron and Michael except for episodes on, June 4th or July 27th about how their cases were solved. And it was amazing work from law enforcement, because neither one of these law enforcement agencies have given up in finding the children. And they work closely with the family. And they've both done, Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and Fruitland Sheriff's Department has done so much for these families. And it is amazing to see, good, amazing detectives working hard. Hey, Heidi, thank you for coming in. That's Zane right there. That's one of my partners. She's just like the most amazing researcher. We chit chat. We message each other. Kane has admitted he has seen the emails. He was unaware of them prior to Kyron's disappearing, but has seen them. Thank you for that. Just another thing, you got these haters out there talking about how Desiree made up those emails. She's probably just made them up to put out on the TV show. Yes, thank you, Zane, for reminding me that Kane has admitted to seeing these emails too. So what? Both parents are lying about these hatred emails? I mean, we're not even really sure if that's what the emails are that are coming out on Wednesday, but I can't think, honestly, of any other emails that would be coming out. And it's going to be huge because if you have Terry Horman saying god-awful stuff about Kyron after she was just in this Terry support group talking about what a wonderful mom she was, how much she loved Kyron, how much, like just painting this pretty picture of like the perfect mom ever. And I was the one who took care of him more than even his own parents, blah, 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 bullshit. Yeah. The hate emails came out and will paint a whole nother picture, won't it? Then what are you going to do, Terry? Then what are you going to do? The whole wide world's going to know exactly what you felt about Kyron. What kind of narrative are you going to spin then? Oh, that's right. You can't spin a narrative because you're not on Facebook anymore because you deleted your Facebook entirely, which I actually think is so suspicious because she did that right after finding out that those pictures were found on those burner phones. Imagine that. Imagine Dee Dee and Terry realizing that was spoke about at the Crime Fest Northwest. Pictures on the burner phones have been found. Communication have been found. Now there's a location, and now we can try to look for Kyron. They crapped themselves, is what happened. Eve says she got into true crime with the Chris Watts case. Yeah. That's one of the worst too. Wow, that's interesting, Zane. I didn't know that. Yeah, Kane does know about those emails. He did it in the very beginning, but like you heard at the very beginning of that news broadcast that I shown, the question to Desiree was, you were shown emails by police. Let's go back and listen to that. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Let me just...
Occasions Terry had called me specifically so that I could talk to Kyron because he was so upset, and Terry Kyron.
And then on Friday, the police showed you some emails.
And then on Friday, police showed you some emails. How can Desiree Young make up emails, Terry supporters, if law enforcement is the one who showed her the emails? You're going to call law enforcement liars too? I can't with them. I really can't. It just pisses me off. It's just laughable that they're so ignorant to think that, or that maybe they don't believe it at all, but I'm going to keep spewing it because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to admit that I'm wrong, and I just want the attention because I'm on the other side. The dark side. Oh my God. No worries, pretty assessor. Thank you so much for coming in and becoming a member. Tabitha says, my daughter, I will never forget the day coming home from school with my mom's eyes glued to the TV for days after Kyron. She has followed from the beginning. I don't Google about the case. I ask my mom. I appreciate that. I've done so much research in Kyron's case. You know, I may not know everything and I may get things wrong. I have been saying for weeks those burner phones were found off Cornelius Pass and Germantown Road. But guess what? I have enough couth to admit I got it wrong. I reread the report. That's not what it is. And now I can go back. I can go back to the correct field. I can put the correct information out because guess what? So much misinformation. Yes. So much misinformation in Kyron's case, so many rumors and stuff that just had to be debunked. You know, there's a lot of rumors that fly around, and Michael's case too, about a tricycle, about, you know, the toy that or whatever it was that Michael Vaughan was carrying that day, where Monkey was abducted from. Rumors about the parents, what and their past. Let me see what else I can think of. Rumors going around right now about what that $6,000 could have been used for, acting like it's a fact when the information came from one of the suspects and given to that creator. You can't listen and for fact any of the suspects in the Michael Vaughan case. Every single one of them are liars. We have found them all lying and contradicting themselves through their own words, for frig's sakes. Like, you cannot take their word for it. Yeah, fake doctor's appointment. Ooh, Zane, that's a good one. The only other email I can think of is that Terry emailed to Kyron's teacher about the doctor's appointment. Damn. That would still be a good one. Because Terry Horman denies ever sending an email. Ever. She's denied. Like, so Terry Horman ends up coming into this Facebook group, okay? This Terry support Facebook group. She's in there for, I want to say, almost a couple of years. In there, just rattling, talking. Meanwhile, me and the people that I'm working with and my partners, screenshots, click, in there with fake profiles. Yes, got fake profiles. Yes. Why? Because Terry Horman's in there and I want to know what she's got to say. People in there asking her questions. She's answering it. We're in there screenshotting everything. And she completely denies ever emailing Miss Porter about a doctor's appointment, writing a letter to Kyron's doctor or teacher, talking to the teacher that day about Kyron's doctor's appointment, and even further goes on in emails on June 5th, the day after Kyron came up missing, talking about how she told the teacher that Kiara had an appointment. How could she get that wrong? And then the day that Kyron comes up missing, Desiree's pulled aside by law enforcement. She has to sign a disclosure deal to let the police officers get the doctor's records, and there's no appointment. Not for that Friday, like Terry said. Then she tried to say it was the following Friday, but there wasn't one set up for then either. There was no doctor's appointment. This is what Terry Horman wanted everybody to think, so that when Kyron wasn't in school at 10 o'clock and marked absent, nobody would bother calling to say, hey, Kyron's not in school. Well, there was no reason to do it. There was no reason for them not to trust Terry. She volunteered up at the school. She was a substitute teacher. She actually didn't even like Miss Porter because she wanted Miss Porter's job and had put in an application to work up at the school, was denied, and Miss Porter got the job. So she was pissed about that. Why did Terry Horman not get the job? Well, because she got a DUI with her own kid in the car, had a CPS record. You got a record like that, you're not going to sub-teach anywhere. I've had people come in, saying that Terry Horman subbed for her and dunked her, their child's jacket in the toilet and then still made their son or daughter wear that coat. Yes, somebody came in, my messenger, and told me their son was Terry's teacher, or she was like helping in that classroom. And this child had dropped their jacket in the toilet and she kind of like dunked it, brought it back out and like put it on him to wear throughout the day. She's evil. Terry Horman is pure evil. Yeah. And Kane says he didn't know about the hate emails before Kyron's disappearance because he wasn't going through Terry's emails. He wasn't being nosy, so he didn't know about it. Had he known about it, I'm sure he would have left. Yeah, the rumors about the bridge cameras, Sauvie Island bridge cameras that didn't exist. I'll try to find the video of Kane talking about the emails and post to the group. Yeah, it's in the group actually, so if you use any keywords, I'm sure you'll find it. Premeditation in both cases. I wonder who that was blocked last night during Kyron's candlelight vigil. Do you remember the screen name, Sarah? Somebody come in during the vigil last night that I didn't see? I didn't see it. Tell me all about it. I'm sure there were some haters, tell you what. Yeah, and here's Zane backing me up on the fact that Terry put this coat on this kid, even though it had gone in the toilet. That parent even gave the accurate school name that Terry was subbing at. Yes. True story. She's awful. I remember seeing that name in here before, Sarah. Who are we talking about? You will tell me later. Yep, message me. I'd like to know, please. There's quite a few Terry supporters, and yeah, they just go amok. Like I said, that Facebook's been dead for months and months and months, and then all of a sudden new information comes out in Kyron's case, and it's almost June 4th, and now, that one admin is over there just posting constantly, like she thinks she knows something when she doesn't know nothing. Since coming into this chat, I have learned a lot of things I didn't know. Thanks, Samantha. Well, thank you, Eve, for being here. I appreciate you so much for coming in, and I hope that, I can give, good contacts. Hopefully, everything I do in Michael Vaughan's case, I do and know and or have permission from law enforcement. There's no misinformation that I've put out in Michael's case as far as I know. And I really do believe, with a good relationship that I have with Brandy, that she probably would have corrected me by now. Or Callie, or one of her other sisters that I'm also close to, I would be corrected, and I would be glad to come out and say, hey, I got it wrong. Now, in the very beginning of Kyron's case, in my Facebook group, I got a hell of a lot of things wrong. But when I started my YouTube channel, got a couple of partners working with me, started debunking those rumors, that misinformation, I'm pretty sure I know what is misinformation and what's true now. I've even apologized face to face to Desiree Young herself for getting information wrong in the very beginning. I will not do that. I will not put out misinformation on purpose, I should say. I have enjoyed this so much. It was such a relaxing, open. I want to do this more often. Maybe I'll do this like once or twice a month, just coming in and talking. Because I really have enjoyed it so much. But I'm going to get off of here. This barbecued steak and my crock pot and some potatoes sure is smelling good. It's time for me to eat and relax tonight. I'll be back tomorrow doing something. Not sure what it will be, but please, if you have any information on Kyron Horman, he vanished June 4th, 2010 from Portland, Oregon, and the last known person to see Kyron was Terry Horman. And now we know Dee Dee Spicer. There is new information, new evidence that have came out from the burner phones that Terry and Dee Dee had on June 4th, 2010, the day that Kyron disappeared. The new evidence is pictures of Kyron after leaving the school. There is a location on those phones. There is conversation on those phones that are now evidence. The DA, Nathan Vasquez, is pushing forward in Kyron's case with new eyes on the case. Promised to move forward. Gave that promise to Desiree Young, Kyron's mom. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is also working with Gresham Police Department to digitize and compile this case. And once that is all done, then everything's going to be handed over to the FBI, and they're going to take a look at the case. And then they're going to hand it over to the BAU for a behavioral analysis, which is great because Terry and Dee Dee are crazy. They are friggin' whacked. And it's so very important to have the behavioral analysis team work on this when it's a nobody case and they have not found Kyron. Kyron Horman was 7 years old when he vanished. He was at his school science fair that day, and this is the last known picture ever taken of Kyron Horman. 7 years old, 7 years old, and it's so sad. You have two parents that believe two different things. Kane Horman still holds hope and, thinks that Kyron could still be found. Desiree Young feels like she knows that Kyron is no longer with us, although she holds hope. They just want their son home. Kyron deserves justice. He deserves justice, and his family deserves justice. His family yesterday was completely heartbroken for the love of Kyron.
I almost don't have words for being here 15 years later.
Tonight, the mother of Kyron Horman pleading for progress 15 years after her son went missing from Portland. Dozens gathered tonight for a vigil at Skyline Elementary School, which is where 7-year-old Kyron was last seen back in 2010. The search for Kyron remains active, with the Multnomah County Sheriff and District Attorney recently saying that they are determined to solve the mystery. Kyron also remains on the FBI's Missing Persons Bulletin. Kyron is 23 years old today. That's a rendering of what he may look like on the right side of your screen. His mother had this message for him tonight.
Kyron, I'm never giving up. I'm going to bring you home. We are here always, fighting for you to come home.
And there is a $50,000 reward for information leading to the resolution of Kyron's disappearance. And on its website right now, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office has a timeline of events from June 4th of 2010, which is the day that Kyron Horman disappeared. 8:45 that morning, Kyron's stepmother saw him at Skyline Elementary School walking towards his classroom. At 3:30 that very afternoon, Kyron did not return home on the school bus as expected. Less than 30 minutes later, a Skyline employee called 911, and at 4:33, authorities responded to the school, Kyron's home, and surrounding areas. By 7 p.m., the sheriff's office's search and rescue team responded to help in that investigation. Within 2 hours of that, the sheriff.
You guys see this timeline from 8:45 in the morning when this picture of Kyron was taken, all the way to 7 p.m. when finally Multnomah County Sheriff's Office search and rescue team was activated to start looking for Kyron. 10.5 hours Kyron was missing before they finally were able to search. He didn't get off the bus at 3:30. A school employee calls 911 at 3:56. That's because they go up to the school. They're looking around. They still can't find Kyron. Call police. Authorities get to the school 30 minutes later. And even though they're up at the school, they're searching and everything else, they have decided within, that period and that time frame, search and rescue team has to be activated because they cannot find Kyron. He was missing over 6 hours before anybody realized he was even missing. And that was all because Terry Horman decided to tell everybody about a doctor's appointment that he had that day that didn't exist.
Notified the FBI. K2 was
and the FBI was notified immediately. We're talking the largest criminal case in Oregon's history, the largest missing person search in Oregon's history.
Taking a closer look at this case with a special report airing right here on K2 on the anniversary of Kyron's disappearance, June 4th. We'll be breaking down how the investigation has evolved over the years and where things stand now, plus never before seen emails pertaining to this case, the unsolved mystery of Kyron Horman.
I really do wonder what those emails are. If you have any information about Kyron Horman, his disappearance, anything to come forward with, because we have now heard on the news, somebody out there knows something about Kyron's disappearance and they need to come forward, please call the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. Phone number is 503-988-0560. No tip is too small. Let law enforcement determine whether or not your tip is credible. Please, if you have any information about Dee Dee Spicer, Terry Horman, if you saw them, anything at all, you could think it's the tiniest thing, please call law enforcement. 503-988-0560. And then we have Michael Vaughan missing from Fruitland, Idaho, 5 years old. He was abducted July 27th, 2021 from Fruitland, Idaho in his neighborhood. There are 4 named suspects in Kyron Horman's case: Sarah Wandra, Stacy Wandra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff. One of these suspects abducted Michael. One of them buried Michael in the Wandra's backyard. One of these suspects moved Michael to an unknown location, and one of these suspects knows exactly where he is today. None of them talking about where Michael is. And there are people that have information about Michael's abduction and murder, and these people are not coming forward. It is time to start talking. I pray all the time that one of these suspects will have a heart and say something. None of them yet that I know have come forward, except for Stacy Wandra and his confession footage telling police things. And I don't think that Stacy Wandra knew that Michael's body was moved out of the Wandra's backyard. I think he thought he was getting a deal. And these suspects need to realize that when charges come, when the cuffs come, Suspects are going to start talking. Your friends are going to start throwing you under the bus, period. That's all that's going to matter. Nobody wants the firing squad. Nobody wants to spend the rest of their lives in prison. It's time for these suspects to start talking. It's time for anybody that has any information of Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder to come forward. Tell law enforcement what you know. The telephone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too small. Collect over $50,000 with any information leading to Michael Vaughan. Remain anonymous. Just do the right thing and be Monkey's hero. 4 years this July, Michael Vaughan has been away from his family. They are bringing Michael home to lay him to rest. The Vaughan family deserves justice. Michael deserves justice. Please continue to pray for Brandy, her illness. Pray for both families and Michael, and in Kyron's case that there will be a resolution. The DA's office of Michael's case has said charges are coming on all 4 suspects. That's what we're waiting for. Click that notification bell in case charges come tomorrow. You know I'll go live immediately, so click the notification bell. You know, I just want to thank everybody so much for being here, for supporting all missing children, for supporting Missing PNW here. I absolutely love my chat. I love all of everybody that comes in. My moderators are amazing. The partners that I work with in the background are amazing. I cannot thank you all enough for being here, for being supportive, for helping my channel grow, for being there for these missing children, and just showing them so much love and just always showing up for them. It's so important to keep bringing awareness. And if you ask yourself, what can you do? What can you do? How can I help? Please share Monkey's beautiful face. Please share Kyron's face. Share these stories. Share the flyers. It's appreciated by their families. It's appreciated, you know, by law enforcement. It's so important to just keep their faces out there, to keep the awareness going, because we cannot give up. We're not going to give up. We will get justice for Michael and Kyron, my boys. I love them so much with my heart and soul, you guys. I really do. Like, it's heartbreaking sometimes to work on these cases, but my dedication is real. I'm not going anywhere until they both get justice. I'm here for the long haul, and eventually I'll move on to another case, and I'll be just as dedicated then. There's so many missing children out there. So many awful things happen to children every single day. We don't talk about what happens, and it's about time we start talking about all of the details and start talking about everything about all these missing children. And yeah, let's all stay focused and dedicated, and just share anytime you get a chance to share a missing child's case. And I also, real quick, want to just share 2 missing girls. Take a look at these pictures from Oaks Harbor off of Whidbey Island. Please take a look at these beautiful young ladies. They are missing. They have been missing. Let me go forward a little bit. They have been missing. So this is Michelle Michaud and Joanne Eby have been missing for over 24 hours. This was days ago. So they've been missing. They were last seen at SAAR's in Oaks Harbor around 3 p.m. on May 25th. Michelle is 5'9", approximately 125 pounds. Julianne is 5'5", approximately 140 pounds. Missing persons report have been filed with the Oaks Harbor Police Department. So please call 911 if you've seen these young ladies. We don't know if they left on their own accord and ran away. We don't know if they're hiding. We don't know what has happened to them, if they've been lured away or abducted. We don't know. This is right here in Washington State. If a family member said to contact them at 757-395-9436 or call Oaks Harbor Police Department or 911 if you have any information on either Michelle or Julian, please. Or what is it? Julian? Oh, so it's Julian up here. It's Julian. Okay. So it just got written wrong up at the top. So Julian and Michelle, Oaks Harbor off of Whidbey Island here in Washington State, 757-395-9436. And let me just rewind to their pictures. If you have any information, please call law enforcement, please. Brandy Neal Vaughan's sister lives on Whidbey Island. She sent me, I have people in my Facebook groups that are telling me they know these two girls. So people are paying attention. So share, share, share. Mick Sporen from Scotland in the house. Good to see you. Justice for Michael, justice for Kyron, justice for Summer, justice for Sebastian. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pretty Assessor. Like, those are some very important cases right there. I know a lot of people that follow Summer and Sebastian. So sad. So many missing children out there. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Please stay. Throw up some monkeys and some frogs, some blue hearts, some green hearts, any hearts, while I finish playing some videos with Kyron and Michael. By the way, I forgot it was Monkey Monday. Go over to the round table and finish up watching the rest of Monkey Monday on the round table. Have a great night, everybody.